team. If that sounds like something that you want to be part of, you visit zilli.io, sorry, .com is always on my head, /CW Midnight Network. So basically, the Zilli that we've already announced for, through the blog, you sign in, you start questing, build up your points, complete the challenge, join the movement that is defining privacy-first development. Because the truth is, it's not just about code. It's about the community and the beliefs that the builders everywhere deserve to protect the data and the people that they serve. And that is what the Aliit stands for.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Samson. So I will close with this. Every major ecosystem starts with a few people who decide to show up, to learn together, and to keep building even when it's hard. The past 2 days have been hard. Cloudflare being down made things hard. That's what the Aliit represent for Midnight. It's proof that this community isn't waiting for permission. It's already building the future of privacy-first applications. Wherever you are in your builder journey, your path starts today. It starts now. Join the quests, earn your points. Let's keep building this together. As I mentioned, some of the Aliit are here today. Can I invite you all up so we can take our first official photo together as a group? Get up here. Let's do it. Get on up.
Hello.
Who's going to hold the shield is the real question.
No. I think habilitar después.
Oh, the shield, right? Do you want to hold the shield?
Yeah? Hold it.
I believe, yes, I feel really good about that.
Okay.
Come on.
The mic.
It's on.
Hi. Is this
If you're not
everyone?
here, we're definitely going to Photoshop you later.
Is this us?
Are you sure this is the
Where's
correct
Sam?
Eric?
Sam.
No, this is Eric.
Where's Sam?
Eric.
Is Sam here?
Sam is here.
Sam's not
Sam,
here.
no,
No.
I saw Sam today. I've had a conversation.
Oh.
Okay, all right. We'll this will be our group. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Sí. Vamos. Let's go. Vamos otra. Vamos para aquí.
All right. Okay. Yes. Thank you all for listening. That was a wonderful session. Now I'm having a feeling like maybe I should become an ambassador also, so that I can contribute and travel. By the way, I think I've met a couple of people today and also yesterday. In case we are meeting for the first time or you're listening to me for the first time, my name is Idris Olubisi. I'm on the DevRel team at Midnight Foundation, focusing on developer experience, education, academic content, and all of the cool stuff to see. So now I'm going to introduce the next, so the session we're going to right now, we have a few selected partners that are going to showcase what they have so far, what they have built, and then also get feedback from you all. The first on my list today is Edda Labs. Don't worry, they are going to go through what Edda Labs means and all of the things they have to showcase to you all today. So I'll be calling on Eric Oh, yes, Eric on stage. Please, can we put our hands together for Eric and his partner? Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Well, hi everybody. It's on? You can hear me, yeah? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Well, I'm Eric. I'm with Tainam. Really happy to be on that picture. So we are part of the Aliit program, and we like to help developers and businesses to just write into this nice game with Midnight, right? So we're going to talk about Edda Labs, what we are building, and you're going to understand how we want to solve this big problem, the big picture. So,
Okay,
Tainam.
we can start. First slide.
In the middle.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, so blockchain has reached an inflection point. The technology is mature, but the adoption isn't. So many businesses still struggle to use blockchain in a real, practical way. And the problem isn't interest. The problem isn't interest, but there is a barrier that stands in the way of onboarding. So the learning curve is steep. The ecosystem is fragmented. Developers still have to navigate between fragmented tools, conflicting narratives, double infrastructure, duplicated infrastructure. About the poor user, the user experience, seed phrases, bridges, private keys, buying tokens to pay for transactions, all of these ideas are very unfamiliar to many businesses. And about the unpredictable transaction costs. So many businesses can operate on top of fluctuating fees, right? And about privacy. So business can't expose their private data, their customers' data, their supply chain information. Radical transparency has impeded many businesses of onboarding on the blockchain. So the problem isn't interest. Businesses are really curious, but they lack a practical way to start. Can you?
Yeah, so, well, that's a huge of, let's call it problems, but right now with the technology that we have, we can actually solve it. So we were thinking, iterating through in these last years on how we can actually make developers come, build on this amazing technology, how businesses can actually understand how blockchain can really solve their problems. So after a lot of thinking, we came up with this model. So a lot of people I've talked about during this summit, we introduced Edda Labs. So what we want to do with Edda Labs is give blockchain to these businesses so they can optimize their operations. But businesses, they need to understand first. They need to practice, to iterate, to test that technology with their actual users. So we were like, okay, how do we do that? How do we iterate in a really fast way and cost-effective way? So we are creating this platform called Nebula, which we bring education and prototyping. So I'm going to explain how this works in practice. So one of the modules that we're going to have in Nebula, it's the deployment platform. So let's call it that way, right? You have a lot of different smart contracts that solve a lot of different problems, right? So you need a way to have an easy way to deploy those contracts. Let's call it a UI that businesses understands. And then after you have that smart contract on the blockchain, users need to interact, right? So I was telling you guys about prototyping. So the contract marketplace, it's a way that users can interact in a really easy way. And when the business owners are ready to scale, they have these client SDKs. So a client SDKs, if they have their own IT department of developers, they can use this SDK that works pretty much like Web 2. So you don't need developers that truly understand blockchain. It's okay to understand Web 2, and they have these SDKs as plugins. And really nice features that are kind of deal breakers. It's no gas fees. Business, they don't understand that. They just use the technology. No seed phrases. We've been through that pain. So people, they just want to social login, but you don't want to lose custody, and there's technology for that. That's gas station. That's a huge feature that Midnight is going to bring us, and we want to put it on the platform, and a modular architecture. We understand that businesses have different intentions. Developers, they have their own ways to implement, but this should work in a modular way. Let's call it like React. You grab different pieces, and you're going to be able to say, OK, I like these 30%, and you're going to be able to integrate it with 70% from other developers. But this is going to work only if it's modular. OK, but that's not all, right? You just not deploy a contract, and users interact with these smart contracts. The way businesses work, they have this whole structure about governance, right? There's not just one person that actually takes the decision or have access to the whole treasury. So you need voting. You need a way to interact and change the smart contracts, multi-sigs, and treasury, right? So Charles just already mentioned about how Cardano is bringing this security layer, and Midnight this fast iteration with this CK technology changing all the time. So we need to change these smart contracts. When the back end of the cryptography, the CK changes, we're going to need to change those smart contracts. We have two options. One, make our clients migrate to a different smart contract. That's bad user experience. So you need to have a DAO, right, that actually handles all these transactions in a really nice user interface for users. And as a platform overall, we're going to have a Nebula DAO, right, that supports education. So we were talking about prototyping, Nebula, but we also need education for people to actually understand. And for that, we have these Midnight sessions. I hope some of you have already seen some of our videos. We have started talking about developers entering the ecosystem. We're going to actually include some other topic about businesses, real actual use cases, and we're giving these educations materials in English, Spanish, Portuguese. We want to include more languages, and we are happy to include everybody that speaks other languages to come and talk to me. So we would be really happy to have other languages as well. And we have an example here that we're going to play. Taina is going to talk about, that we mentioned about these client SDKs, right? So when businesses are ready to scale, we have the white label. They can do it by themselves, or Edda Labs or other developers can actually scale and build these white labels for them.
So how Eric was saying, this is one of the white labels we are working, and we intend to integrate into Nebula. This specifically is about compliance and environmental certificates that could be for carbon credits or IREX and renewable energy. Can you go to the video?
There's a link.
There is a
we
link
can click on that.
below.
Not sure. Yeah. Okay.
So it would be basically the buyer journey, that you are in the marketplace, a private marketplace, and would like to search for renewable certificates like solar and wind-powered energy. The buyer is placing a bucket with the requirements they need for the certificates they want to buy. And basically, you can manage the buckets.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain?
Okay, so, well, that's the white label. At the end, this whole infra that we are building, as we mentioned, we are doing it in a modular way. So, smart contracts, we have store these contracts under the mesh organization repos. So I invite everybody to go over there. You're going to see those contracts being developed using modules, but not only the contracts with Compact, but also the transaction layer. It's modularized, and this UI, it's actually using modulars. So for example, you see there is a tokenization layer, there is an identity layer, there is a DeFi layer. So in your use case, you want to use some DeFi, you can actually grab that piece of code on the dApp code, and you can integrate it in your platform. So we want modularity, right? So, well, thank you. We're going to be around, and thank you all. Thank you for inviting.
All right. Right now we'll be calling on the next presentation from Edda Labs. We have them getting ready right now to present to you all. All right, please proceed on stage. Okay. Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah. You have the floor? Yeah.
All right. We good? Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Cletus, COO at Edda Labs. Joined here up on stage by Drew, our CTO. Really excited to be here, and thank everybody for coming. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys something special. We're going to show you what we've been building for the past 4 or so months, but the conversation's a leap of faith when you were sending tokens from one chain to another. It was during the days of Coinbase when you withdrew the Matic token, and you can only send it to Ethereum, and you couldn't get it easily to the Polygon blockchain. Now, as a user, this is kind of tough, because how are you going to be able to get tokens from one chain to another, take a leap of faith, wait 30 minutes? Not a good overall DeFi experience. But it gets worse when it comes to projects. If you're a project and you're integrating and you want to go cross-chain, either bring your token, bring anything cross-chain, you have to worry about bringing liquidity and fragmenting your liquidity, taking it out of a DEX, putting it into bridge pools. Even worse, you can't own that liquidity. The bridge owns that liquidity. For a developer, it's hard because you can't tap into it. And then also, like probably all of our experiences, the UI is not completely ideal. It's not a UI where you as a protocol, you as developers can develop. So I want to make this very clear right now. VIA is not a token bridge. We're not a token bridge. So token bridges, those send tokens between chains. Edda Labs, we send cross-chain messages. And what you're probably wondering next is, what do cross-chain messages do? Why would someone want to send a cross-chain message? Well, what you can do with cross-chain messages is that you can create a token bridge. That is very possible. But pertaining to Midnight and pertaining to this event right here is that we're really talking about rational privacy. And one of the main tenets of rational privacy is the fact that you need to have interoperability. So Charles gave a great example when he was talking about Uniswap in his whiteboard video that was released 4 days ago or something, where on Uniswap, if you wanted to add the rational privacy element to that, what you would do is you would have a message be sent to Midnight for processing, and then have a message be sent back after the processing happened for verification. Now, that is not possible without cross-chain messaging. Next, what you could do is you can sync balances across chains. So if there is, let's say, a liquidity pool on Cardano, and you want to sync that up with what's happening on Midnight, or if there's something on Midnight and you want to sync that up everywhere else, that's what you would use cross-chain messaging for. You could execute cross-chain governance. So let's say a governance proposal on Cardano gets passed, and that should be broadcast to Midnight or the rest of the L2 ecosystem of Cardano, cross-chain messages. And lastly, what you can do is you can transfer different stablecoins using a multi-hop function from chain to chain using cross-chain messaging. So you could do anything like borrowing and lending, you could do remittances, payments, whatever you want with that. Diving deeper into the stablecoins, stablecoins are on Cardano. They can now come to Midnight, and you could have your own security. For dApps, one integration, very easy, and once it gets to Midnight, whatever processing needs that you want to do, you can send it elsewhere. Why does this matter for Cardano and Midnight? Well, it's pretty simple. Cardano and Midnight specifically, it's the 4th generation blockchain. It needs to have rational privacy. It needs to have interoperability to enable that to happen. And one of the things that we really focus on at Edda Labs is specializing the code, specializing the integration experience so that dApps and developers and businesses can easily integrate with this. So you never own your contracts with Edda Labs, or we never own your contracts with Edda Labs. You always own your contracts. We just provide those infrastructure rails for that to happen. And not to get too much into it, but for our security, what you can see is that there's 3 separate layers. The chains can run their own layer and have control of the cross-chain messages into and out of their ecosystem, while also the projects can run their own layer. So we give that security back to the projects themselves. And this does happen to be live. It is live on 140 different blockchains right now, and we're 75% of the way complete with our Cardano integration. And on Midnight, we're building with Midnight on Midnight. So as different features become available on Midnight, awesome, happy days, the more that we develop on Midnight and people can progress building. So I want to get one more show of hands. Who here is a developer? Got a lot of developers in here. I'm actually not a developer, so I should not have raised my hand. But we do have a great developer up here, our CTO, Drew. So he's going to walk you through a bit more about the demo that we're excited to show and dive more into the technical details as to what we do at Edda Labs.
Since you're in control of the... No, keep it. It's perfectly fine. Could we go back just one slide? I want to talk about a few things that were shown previously. Sure. So just like Cletus said, guys, we are now live on over 140 blockchains. If we count testnets as well, it's well over that. We did our first non-EVM integration with a substrate-based, Polkadot-based chain, which is Reef, which was, some of you guys might have noticed, was one of the partners listed under the first slide. Exactly like Cletus said, we are working hard on bringing Cardano inside of this ecosystem. We have some of our colleagues who are working hard on Solana integrations. We have some other colleagues working hard on Stellar integrations, and I'm personally working with my own team on the Midnight one. So very exciting. Exactly, just like, go back, thank you very much. Exactly like Cletus said, Midnight has given us this amazing opportunity of being involved. I just met with them half an hour ago, and they've given us this opportunity to be involved in shaping the tooling around the blockchain. They listen to our opinions, they listen to our feedback. And this has been, for us specifically, the first time, and we're very proud of that. We can continue on, thank you. So now, let's talk about a high-level overview of how we operate. There is no magic formula when dealing with bridges. You have some source of truth, which is blockchain X. You need a listener of some kind, some tech that listens for things that happen. Then you have a piece in between, which might validate, might assemble data, it might do a bunch of stuff. In our case, we tried to keep it as minimal as possible. And instead of giving it power, we tried to keep the least amount of privilege possible. So what our validator, what our piece in between does, it simply listens to the ether. We have this peer-to-peer network that shares data and information about messages being sent across. And what we do is we collect individually signatures from each of these nodes, and then they get validated entirely on-chain. I'm talking about the EVM implementation specifically, and we're in talks with Midnight about introducing built-in circuits that would enable us to, for example, extrapolate the original signer of some specific signature. Just like many of you, I'm sure, are familiar, the EC recover precompile on EVM. Messages are relayed to the destination. That's the third piece. You have a source of truth. You have a piece in between, which might be more or less like have the ability to have more or less privilege. And then you relay those messages to the destination chain. And that destination chain can be literally anything. In our case specifically, we do have some discrepancies. We have models like the extended UTXO that operate in a very different way compared to the account model. And we're working on those. We can continue. Thank you. So let's see a demo for the first time. This is you'll see a Cardano to Midnight, and you'll see a Midnight to Cardano. I might get the order mixed up, but we can comment on it together. So on the right, you'll see a front end detail. This is like all proof of that there is no trickery going on. We have a shielded, if we could, do you have the ability to pause through that? I don't believe you do. That's fine, that's fine.
I don't believe I do.
All good. We have a shielded, I want to make it clear, shielded token, and we are sending a asset, native Cardano asset, which currently has it had a balance of whatever that was at that time, and we're making it a native asset on Midnight. On the left of the screen, you'll see a basic validator node listening on both chains, processing the data that is being either pushed inside of a datum, inside of a UTXO, dedicated UTXO, or on Midnight, we query contract public state with our current implementation. The Midnight team has announced quite recently that version 6 will be live soon. You'll see that the balance is also updated. I don't want to block the view. We just received one token. You won't see any decimals being displayed, but we just moved a token between the two chains, and now we're going the other way, Midnight to Cardano now. And when going Midnight to Cardano, there we go, yeah. What will happen is that we will listen for contract public state, and the change that will happen next is that because of what Midnight will release through version 6 of their ledger very soon after this event, we will be rewriting this implementation to make use of the new event system that they will be releasing, and to make use of all the features around unshielded tokens to extend this to be available for unshielded tokens as well. You'll see a bunch of encoding. This is just dev logs. We're waiting for validation logs. We're printing transactions. And this is what would happen secretly in the background. What a user would see is just that front end that the video was showing. Now we keep refreshing. Yeah. It will say that the transactions propagate from the sender nodes to the whole network, and once they reach one, and there we go. Yeah. That's the transaction. Those are the tokens being received. And we just went back and forth. So native Cardano asset became a shielded token of Midnight, and that shielded token of Midnight then came back to Cardano. Now, what does this look like for you guys specifically? We are live right now on many EVMs and Reef and many other chains. We'll be live very soon on Stellar. And if you guys want to integrate with us today, we have contracts, one single copy of what we call the gateway contract, available on many, many, many chains. We do provide some sort of SDK, let's say. It's a very simple contract that makes it easier for developers to integrate with us. And you can decide and you can configure which chains you're interested in visiting, and you can even decide how many block confirmations to wait for. Because some of you might have very specific requirements where block reorgs might be a risk, and you can take that risk. So you might decide to wait for 50 block confirmations, 500 block confirmations. On EVM, this is completely configurable, and our vision is to bring that same experience that we developed over the past 4-5 years, same exact way, same exact experience to Cardano and Midnight as well. Message flow, I believe we covered this mostly already. We have a listener service that was shown through logs on the left. The message gets assembled off-chain. It gets put inside of a regular JavaScript object. And Edda Labs truly tries to be one layer below bridges, one layer deeper. And you can easily build a bridge through us. You could build a NFT bridge. You could build data that sends and syncs NFL scores, or maybe NBA scores, whichever sport you're a fan of. On the destination, we will have a gateway contract. On Midnight, this is a little bit special. We're working with the Midnight team to see if we can have a solution around contract-to-contract calls, because this is the way that the model works on EVM. But inside of this specific example, through Ethereum, the off-chain component would assemble the signatures, send them to the gateway contract. The gateway contract would recover every single signer of that transaction, make sure that they're valid, make sure that they meet the configurable requirements, which Cletus was mentioning, for example, the project layer, the chain layer, and all that. And we apply that same idea when dealing with the Midnight to Cardano side. Thank you very much, because the vision is exactly the same. We understand, of course, that the model is completely different and the account model is not UTXO. But again, that's the goal, that's the idea, and this is in active development. And to be honest, to be frank with you, it's at a very good stage because we have the ability to demo it even. EVM integrations, I believe that we talked about this already. You guys can use us right now. And I believe we talked about it. Do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, we're live right now on 140 different blockchains. That's the EVM side, and building out Cardano, Midnight. The next one that's going to be live will be Stellar. Most likely Stellar, and Solana shortly after that. So our whole goal, our whole vision is to be absolutely everywhere, whether that be EVM or non-EVM.
If any of you hackers want to check us out, and if you want to use us today, you can take a note of this. You'll find a little, very easy to use message client.sol contract, and it will help you immensely to integrate with us, make it really easy, and it's just about 2 specific functions. You can go to the next one. It's literally 2 functions We have a send message that is exposed by that contract, and you can give it a destination, chain, and data. Exactly like I was saying, we want to be one layer below regular bridging, and so we do not care what you want to send. We take your raw bytes that you can decide to encode however you want, in any way that you want. We relay them to the destination, and you do untouched, completely untouched, and you do whatever you prefer with those bytes at the end of it on the destination. The process side is the receiver. If we want to call them, if we want to label a different way, this should be viewed as a sender, and this should be viewed as the receiver. We expect your contract on EVM to have this specific nomenclature, this naming, and this function signature, because our infra will deliver the bytes and will deliver all that information to your own contract. And you'll be able to do whatever you prefer with the data.
Okay, so the key takeaways here is that VIA is not a token bridge, but you can build a token bridge using VIA technology. We're going to be live on Cardano sometime in Q1, early Q1. Testnet might be a little bit before that, but we don't want to make any promises, but that should be the case. And VIA is designed for both dApps, developers, and businesses to be able to integrate from chain to chain. To wrap it up, 2 questions that we always get is, do I have to trust VIA with my funds? Answer is no. We do not own the contracts that you deploy. You guys own the contracts that you deploy as a dApp, as a developer, as a business. You guys have those contracts. And how fast can messages be sent? Now, we give that decision back to the developers themselves, back to the dApps. You can set the confirmations to be as little or as much as you'd like. So if you want to have a constant stream of data coming out of Midnight, just going everywhere, that can just be universally sent. Or if you want to wait a certain amount of confirmations because maybe you're sending large value transfers, that can happen as well. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you so much. And if you have any other questions, please come up and see us afterwards. And
we're very open to
thank
discussion.
You.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful, wonderful presentation from the VIA Lab team. Next on, we'll be having Utash from Web3Soft.
Good morning, guys. I'll just wait for them to load my presentation in. Yeah. Perfect. I guess we are in. So yeah, good morning, everyone here today. My name is Utkarsh, and I'm the VP of Engineering at Webisoft. And today we have something really cool in-house to show you guys that we have been working for a very long time. So let's get started. What we'll be looking at today is called Web3 Fast. Web3 Fast is our initiative and idea behind democratizing blockchain access and blockchain development for everyone out there. Now, what does Web3 Fast mean? For a lot of you may ask, what the fuck is Web3 Fast? Some of you in this room are really aware with Web3 Fast and are using Web3 Fast as we speak. Some of you have no idea what Web3 Fast is. So before we jump into this demo and tell you all about what we have here, let's just look at a quick little demo of how this works. Web3 Fast at its core is just a simple development environment that runs within your browser. Goal is to convert any person into a developer. Goal is to remove these barriers to entry that have been long-standing within the gates of crypto, holding people from coming into this space. So I just recorded this demo last night. It's pretty simple and neat and clean. So hello, Midnight Summit. Let's get started. I'm going to make a simple app. In spirit of the hackathon that's already happening here, I thought about it would be really cool if I built an app that's built for registering the participants for this hackathon that works in a way where hackathon participants are private, but then I can put the winners to be public. Now, that sounds like a cool idea, But how do you really put it into action in Midnight? That's something to think about, right? You would need to understand the ledger states and a lot of other things that Midnight offers. Well, with Web3 Fast, all that goes away. You put in your idea, and it gets started planning. We're using state-of-the-art machine learning models that have been fine-tuned on our data sets, as well as data sets that the community has been producing publicly to make this happen. Now, first step is always generating the plan, because at Webisoft and at Web3 Fast, we believe to think twice and code once. We like to build it right the first time. So it's going to come up with a plan. It's going to show us what we're doing. Understanding the hackathon contract. Participants register for the hackathon without revealing their identity on the public ledger. Contract uses zero-knowledge proofs to verify registration eligibility without disclosing personal information. Trusted authority selects winners privately. Contracts publish only winner IDs, and so forth and so on. If you're a little bit of a nerd, you can jump into the other details that we have about the public ledger state, the private ledger state, and everything else that Midnight has to offer. Goal is for us to give you an entire plan of what we're about to do here, even before we get started building anything. And it also shows you the privacy flows we have in the house. Now, as soon as I hit that button, it's going to pull up the web IDE, and right behind you, you can see Web3 Fast is trying to write the smart contract. It's going to write it. It's going to try to compile it. It fails, but wait for it. It's going to figure out where it went wrong, and it's going to rewrite it and fix it. And boom, 1, 2, 3. It's almost done, and we're done compiling a smart contract, and that took less than a minute. Boom, and we're done. And that's how easy it is to build with Web3 Fast, guys. You can build any idea your heart desires. Once you're done building the contract, compiling it, the next step is to have a UI where you can actually use it. You can see this come to life. And that's where the next step of this presentation comes, where I just press this button, and it got started writing all the front-end components for the Web3 Fast system we have here. We wait a few seconds for the UI to show up. Yarn takes a little bit long. And boom, we have an entire UI. We've just built a whole app for registering participants, full stack, in our browser in under 3 minutes. Anybody can use it, and it really removes the barrier to entry for blockchain for everyone that's out there. It can be used by people, and is being used by people at the hackathon right now, and has been actively used by people globally. Now, a lot of you may ask, why Web3 Fast? Well, Web3 Fast comes from the same philosophy that Bitcoin and Midnight and these other blockchain and cryptocurrency projects were invented with, which is democratization. You cannot have true democratization in a particular space if you don't have the ability to choose, the ability to vote, the ability to leverage the platform in the same way possible. For my next slide, let me just switch the glasses. The most important thing, and the reason that we have Web3 Fast, is because we want to give people the choice. We want to give them the choice to choose. Are you going to be waiting for the developers to build the apps you really need, the apps you really want, to have the apps you really want to play with, or are you going to go out there and build them yourself? Are you going to be tied down by this matrix of developers that are going to really control this ecosystem of blockchain that you're in, or are you going to unleash yourself and go out there and build your own destiny? What's it going to be? So that's the choice we're really trying to present you with Web3 Fast here. You can really own your own blockchain. You can own your own infrastructure. You can own your own chain and your own identity. Just like Bitcoin, just like Midnight, same ethos, Web3 Fast. Why? At the end, because this creates democratization. And what democratization really leads to is everybody has equal opportunities within the space, and those opportunities are not just limited to developers. There is no class between developers and builders and users and investors. There's just one global category in the blockchain space, and that's users. All users can use the blockchain, can use the protocol, can use the technology equally. And that's what it's about. It's about empowerment at the end of the day. We would like to empower you, the users, to be able to leverage the blockchain to its fullest capabilities. And that's what Web3 Fast is really about. Now, before we go into conclusion, this whole conference has really been about technology. Even Web3 Fast is about technology, and blockchain's about technology as well. But what I would like to place an emphasis on is that technology is nothing. What is really important is that you have faith in people, that they're basically good and smart, and if you give them the tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. And I hope you guys build wonderful things with Web3 Fast. Thank you guys for being a wonderful audience, and thank you so much, Midnight Summit, for having me here.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much once again from Webisoft. So I have a quick announcement, please. I think we have a couple of submissions that, first, your Google Drive submissions. Akas, if you can hear me, some of your submissions are private. Yes. Please, you need to confirm first if you have any Google Slides submission, confirm anyone can view the file. That's one problem. Then the other one is GitHub projects being private. I think Agent Vault, if you are from Agent Vault, please take a look at your GitHub project that you submitted. It is private. Try to make it public so you can get, so we can get the project reviewed as soon as possible. Data Guardian also. And I think the last one is ZK Armor. Please make sure that your GitHub project is visible and not private, rather. And also, if you have any other submissions, we've noticed that some of the slides you guys submitted is also private. Also, the recording, like a video recording for your demo, is also private. All you just need to do is to unrestrict the access so that anyone can view the file. But then, I think we are good, right? So thank you all once again for joining. We really appreciate everyone's support so far, and also listening to all of the projects that presented. And then I think we can call it a good night and see you guys on the other side. Thank you all. Bye for now.